right. Well, welcome to our virtual college and career ready night. This conversation is going to revolve around information technology and cybersecurity pathways that we offer in District 214. Who we have joining us today is listed here, and they're going to introduce themselves here in a moment. My name is Seth Huddle. I am the Career and Technical Education and Physical Education Division Head at Prospect High School. This is my sixth year in the district and fifth year doing this virtually. So,
This is David Hassan. I'm a partner with the Donation Exchange. We're a company been around for about 20 years, and we provide technology for businesses as well as nonprofits, including philanthropy products and services to help both businesses and nonprofit in fundraising.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mike Drunt. I'm a teacher at Rolling Meadows High School. I teach in the IT and cybersecurity pathway. I've been at Rolling Meadows now for this is my 22nd year. Feels like just yesterday I started, and I had 4 years previous to that at Lyons Township High School, all teaching in this area.
Hello, everyone. I'm Bob Voss. I'm the current cybersecurity supervisor for Township High School District 214. I'm just celebrating actually 4 years in this position. I'm also a recent graduate of 2020 of Rolling Meadows and former apprentice in the cybersecurity apprenticeship program that we offer here.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Giovanni Melchor. I'm a security consulting engineer with Cisco. I am also a District 214 alumni from Hersey, and I was a former apprentice alongside Robert. I call him Bob. So happy to be here.
Hey, I'm Keenan Nguyen. I'm a senior at John Hersey High School, as well as a apprentice at Donation Exchange.
awesome. All right. So, Mr. Drenth is going to help me here in a moment, kind of talk about these different pathways. But big thing is up on the top, you can kind of see what is, I'm going to say, our ideal pathway. We also understand that students have a lot of other interests, so they're in and out of the pathway consistently. So even though it looks very linear, it can be, I'm going to say, a little messy. I'm going to go ahead and let Mr. Drenth kind of explain that a little better, as he's a lot smarter than myself.
Okay, so for the different pathways for the IT pathway, essentially, one of the things that Seth was kind of talking about to kind of allude to is if you follow the pathway, the best way to kind of get all of the dual credit within that is kind of following the pathway. And so how we have it set up for IT is you could take a college IT fundamentals course your freshman year, along with a college A plus software class. The college is in front of that because the first two classes, well, actually first four classes that we offer in the pathway, all get dual credit through Harper College. And then the second year, you would take the second half of the A plus, which would be college A plus hardware, and then that goes into college networking. Junior year or third year, depending on what it is in the pathway, we offer a advanced networking cybersecurity course. That's actually we just started offering dual credit for that several years ago. We have a different partner for that because it's not offered at Harper College. So we go through Moraine Valley Community College, which is actually down in Park Forest. They're great. They work with us quite a bit. And then the fourth year, if your student wants to continue in that pathway, it takes us to the apprenticeship program, which I'm sure Giovanni and Bob and Keenan can talk to you more about kind of how that works.
Awesome. Yeah, and as Mr. Drunt said, there is kind of two different pathways. So one is more the IT, and then the other is going to be more cybersecurity.
Yeah, so I'll talk to that. So actually, both of them, they call it a cybersecurity pathway, but really both of them are kind of cybersecurity pathways. The IT one is more essentially it's just more hands-on hardware, but you eventually get to the cybersecurity, just like the other cybersecurity pathway. It's a little kind of confusing, but that one is more software based, so it's more programming. So you would do your mobile app development. You would do your AP Computer Science A and AP Computer Science Principles, and then that would kind of go into they offer at Prospect and I think at Buffalo Grove they offer like a fourth year cybersecurity program. Um, Keenan, I know that you're doing like a developers program. Do you do that through there, or are you still at Hersey?
What was the question?
Did you do the cybersecurity through through the IT pathway or the other pathway through like I don't know, sometimes you may have gone to like Prospect or BG to kind of take the programming side.
I did it all at Hersey. I did
Okay.
the computer science one, then the AP principles, and then CSA.
Okay, great. So he followed like the other pathway where like I know I'm not certain with Giovanni, but I know Robert or Bob Voss, he took my programs and he kind of did the hardware pathway. So we have kind of both.
Yeah, and the nice thing is, with all of our district programming, if Keenan decided he wanted to take a class that was not offered at Percy, he has the ability to take it at any of our other schools if it's offered there. So,
Correct.
all right. So we're going to start with David here. First question, what or how would you describe a typical day in your world? David, you're muted.
There we go. Great. So we're a small business, and so basically we play a lot of roles, and it varies from meeting with customers and working with customers on defining requirements. Also, if there's any issues or um, any questions that come up, we kind of assist with that. But then also we work with the development team and try to find ways to improve the products and enhance the products, but then also looking at the future and see where we can enhance the products. So to be in the front of what the customer might want down the road. So there's a lot of elements that we end up playing, and pretty much everybody wears different hats every day.
Awesome. Gonna go over to Robert here, kind of for a second question. Um, Similar, what is your typical day like? And then what certifications and or degrees do you have that is needed?
Um, so my typical day is mostly going over or at the district at least, we cover a lot of different technology within our department. So everything from, running updates on the computer side, making sure staff, students have access to all the resources they need, but also um, making sure that the network is running smooth. So there's a lot of um, keeping up to date with what's going on, with what new technology might be emerging. So say there's a new Apple update, we're making sure that, all the apps are compatible. We're making sure all this, teachers, whatever software they use still works. And we're also monitoring network activity in terms of making sure that, Wi-Fi connection is stable and uh, that our internet connection stays stable as well. In terms of certifications or possible degrees, um, it really kind of depends on what you want to do. In terms of a degree, I would say a degree gives you a strong base understanding, but it's not entirely necessary. Whereas a certification, there are a lot of general certifications out there, such as the CompTIA certifications offered in the programs listed here, are very general and can get you a strong base in a certain area. but there's also a lot of vendor-specific certifications out there that can teach you how to use a certain vendor's product. So like a lot of vendors offer the same products, but depending on where you want to go or what specific product you might like, you might go down a specific vendor's route. But I would say they're both equally important. They both teach you a lot of like they will both give you the general base of knowledge that you need while also generally specifying in a certain area. And depending on what you want to do, a certification might be better for you or a degree might be better.
All right, same question. Giovanni.
Yeah, so my role is a little different. It's a security consulting engineer. Well, what does that really mean? I'm primarily a consultant, which means that I present a lot. I translate technical material into very simplified forms for a lot of our customers. So a lot, so kind of what Bob was saying about vendors. I work for a vendor named Cisco, which provides a lot of um, equipment, software for a lot of the industry within IT and cybersecurity and a variety of other industry like verticals. So what my day looks like is presenting to a lot of customers and or working on technical work that is being prepared to be presented to a customer and advising and kind of working with architects into shaping like a lot of Fortune 100 organizations and what they adopt in terms of cybersecurity needs and things of that nature. So that's like one portion of my job, as well as there's so a little bit of coding here and there, scripting and or innovation, and some procedure tasks from a corporate perspective. So like a lot of basic tasks that are just needed to keep kind of running the house. So in terms of certifications and degrees that are needed for my career, I would say I work for a vendor, so we are, I would say, biased as to if you're interested in this type of role, they do look at a CCNA, right, Cisco Certified Network Associate, or a CCNP, which is kind of like that next level. But I would say as long as you're interested in terms of certifications in general, that's a great start. I know Security Plus is a big for cybersecurity. I know that A Plus covers software and hardware. Maybe that one isn't as needed, but knowing the knowledge domain is definitely kind of critical to be a well-rounded individual working in tech and or anything related to it. So I would say that. And then in terms of degrees, we typically look at either like a bachelor's towards computer science, IT. Well, actually, a lot of different backgrounds in terms of academia. I think I've seen people get hired in my role from even like a teacher, former teacher who has great presentation skills or is able to communicate effectively, but maybe needs a little bit more of that technical kind of step up. So a variety of different roles, but primarily, yes, those technical computer science, IT, and others related.
Awesome. Thank you there. Mr. Drent, don't get any ideas based on what he said there. All right. So, Mr. Drent, what external experiences do you or teachers around the district provide for students to beyond the classroom?
Yeah, so I could talk to a couple of things that we do at Rolling Meadows, and then I know, having that conversation before people jumped in, I think Keenan is doing something a little bit different, so maybe he can kind of jump in and kind of talk about what they do over at Hersey. At Rolling Meadows, along with kind of the classroom portion of it, we do a couple different groups. One of them is called Cyber Patriot, which is through the Air Force. They do a competition. Essentially, it's like a defensive competition trying to kind of fix vulnerabilities in different operating systems. And then there's also a Cisco portion as well. Let me give Giovanni a kind of shout out there. So they have a Cisco networking portion as well into the competition. We're actually in competition season right now. Our first competition is Friday. And that usually goes pretty much through first semester through first semester. And then other than that, we also do something called National Cyber League, and it's available in the fall and the spring. But we just focus on in the spring since we kind of focus on the Cyber Patriot in the fall. And so during the spring, the students participate in the National Cyber League, and that's more of kind of a little bit of offensive and defensive skills. So there's different skill sets that they work on, and that's more of an individual competition that leads to a team competition as well. And so those are a couple different things that our kids can kind of participate in outside of the classroom that kind of adds to, just different skills that they can, add to their tool belt there. And I know Keenan was talking about at Hersey they do a developers club. Keenan, you there? Maybe not.
Yeah, at Hersey they do have a couple of computer science clubs. They have clubs for AI. They have one focused on game development, and then there's also one focused on like more web development.
Yeah, I was talking to your teacher, Mr. Brown, the other day actually, and all of those clubs are all student run, right?
Yep.
He's just there kind of facilitating, but it's all student run, which is really neat.
Awesome. Well, Keenan, we got you on mic, so let's come to you now. What are some courses that you found to be helpful in preparing you for life beyond high school?
So the courses that I think are pretty helpful, there was computer programming, mobile apps development, AP Computer Science Principles, and AP Computer Science A. Like each course is like a level up from the other. I found personally AP Computer Science A was helpful for me because they go through like a lot of specific stuff in programming languages that can be applicable to other languages. Like a lot of like the fundamental stuff, like variables, classes, and then like inheritance stuff, as well as different algorithms and like just logic.
Awesome. What about for our alumni that are present on the Zoom? What other or what courses were extremely helpful for you to kind of take that next step in your career or to know that's what you wanted to do?
I think for me, I just try, it was 4 years ago, so I'm trying to remember the names. But I don't think I took AP Computer Science simply because I started the apprenticeship program senior year. But if I had to say, the A plus course for me kind of meant a lot at that point because it really got me into that well-rounded, um, context about what computers are, hardware-wise, software-wise. How does that work in the bigger scheme of things? So I think those for me are some big hitters. I don't know about Bob.
For me, I would lean more towards the later course, like the Security Plus, I think was the last one. That one really meant more to me. I mean, like coming in as a freshman and a sophomore, I was still adjusting to high school, and I think I got the most out of the Security Plus my junior year when I took it. Um, that one really like combining that with the Cyber Patriot and the NCL. By that time, I had built up a decent amount, and then being able to apply that within those two extracurriculars um, really amplified what I got out of the course.
Yeah, I think Bob, you're right. I remember now. I think we did the same kind of path. Definitely honing in the learning in classroom versus and like applying later on really, yes, amplified it and
Yeah.
kind of synergized it really well for it to stick and make sense. So
To
Awesome.
quickly piggyback on these guys, I'm sorry, Seth, I don't mean
Oh,
to
that's
cut
great.
you off.
That's great.
Just to kind of piggyback something that I was thinking about is when they were talking about their experience and kind of what they looking for as far as a degree um, compared to possibly certifications. One of the nice things about the courses in the pathway, especially the IT pathway, is every course that we have also has a certification exam tied to it. So the IT fundamentals, the A plus, the networking, and the security, we all like the students can sit for and take an industry certification exam if they choose to, and the district pays for it, which is really nice because those exams are pretty expensive. So it's kind of a nice thing for the kids if they're interested in this area to not only get the dual credit and get the experience with the extracurriculars, but to also be able to kind of get some of those certifications that sometimes they would only be able to get as a professional, but in school.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
I could.
go ahead.
I was going to add in one more thing there. I know, yes, that is a huge opportunity that I tried to take advantage of during my time at Hershey. So I know later on in college, a lot of my peers, including myself, wish we took more because once you're out of the system, you have to pay for them out of pocket, and at that point, it's a little too late. So yes, I would definitely push for students to take advantage of that opportunity while they have it.
Yeah, and as Mr. Drent said, the district is nice enough. We do bulk orders, so we get some discounts in that as well, but we're able to provide that for students to do that as well. So, all right. And again, friendly reminder, if you joined late, the chat, if you have any questions, please add to that. We want this to be more of a conversation than us just answering random questions here. So I'm gonna go here back to David. I heard training and certifications a lot. What is something your industry is looking for, or um even other skill sets that are valuable to like your type of business? You're muted again. On the bright side, you're unfamiliar with some Zoom, so that's good.
Yeah. Oh, I had this great explanation. Oh, I'll forget it now. But we are usually looking for advanced, we're working in the advanced technology. So looking for students, but also the candidates to have um, good command of the programming languages and understanding, the different languages and what they can be used for, etc. But also because it's more of a business, a lot of the development projects that we work on are mostly Microsoft. Um, they tend to be on the Microsoft side, C Sharp and .NET platforms. So we're always looking for specific um, technology set, and which makes it a little challenging. But one of the things that kind of beneficial is if the student or the candidate have the ability or the ability to pick up different languages with ease. I mean, that's one of the key things we look for. So, if you have a certification in one language, et cetera, that's great. But how can you adapt to different languages? And especially now in the AI, with AI, it's an evolving field and it's moving really fast. So, there's a lot of vendors that are trying to promote their versions of things, of versions of the products or the AI. And so we're trying to figure out which one is the right one to go with. And, we might end up with one, but then down the road we'll say, oh, it's not going to meet the need. We're going to need to switch it. So again, having a student or the candidate to be able to adapt to any technology, I mean, that's key to us.
Yeah, great point. Obviously, it's changing rapidly and it's not going to probably slow down anytime soon. So, all right,
Exactly.
Keenan. So, based on your coursework and your different experiences here in 214, how have those reaffirmed or changed your plans for after high school?
So after high school, I probably want to go into like a software engineering field, and my coursework slash work-based learning experience have reaffirmed this. Like the computer coursework for the computer science pathway, we do a lot of cool projects. So like we get to make a lot of cool things. The mobile apps and computer science principles are you're like making mobile apps. So like you're making a lot of cool projects. And actually, in my apprenticeship at Donation Exchange, I'm working on I've worked on a couple of projects. I've actually really enjoyed it. So those experiences have reaffirmed my plans after high school to go in a software engineering field.
Awesome. This can be for all of our industry partners. Mr. Drent, if you want to chime in, you're welcome to as well. How can a high school student begin to prepare for a career in your fields?
I can start. So I would say, at least from my experience, I don't know how cheesy this is going to sound, but I think communication is key, no matter the technical field you're going to go into. I know when I was at, District 214, a lot of my English teachers would always kind of push that, and I would still to this day say that because, I mean, you can be technical as much as you can be, but if you can't communicate those ideas to peers, colleagues, customers, or whatever, whoever it may be, it's going to be really difficult to be an effective, contributor anywhere. So I would say definitely kind of preparations in terms of writing and practicing being a well-rounded individual, not simply being a technical kind of niche person. Although that is important, especially in this type of field, and I think this is what these career pathways provide and exposure and proper alignment towards that. At least for my field, communication is one of the most important pieces.
That was great, Giovanni. A couple things that I just would like to add that we kind of just focus on in class. We tend to, or I tend to kind of get a lot of very technical students. And kind of piggybacking on what Giovanni said, one of the things that I really like stress in class is in our discussions when we're talking about a different topic, not only being able to kind of have those discussions, but also being able to kind of have those discussions with people that might not be at the same technical level as you. So that because it's interesting in the courses that we have, we'll have kids that are at varying levels, and usually when we have discussions, the discussions are usually quite a bit of the students who have a pretty vast technical knowledge are the ones who will at least start the discussion. And so it's interesting, or I kind of tell the kids like, hey, like we got to kind of try to talk to, like, hey, if someone doesn't understand what's going on, how can we kind of communicate these ideas to kind of help them, at least when they might be working at a help desk or something like that, that they actually have to kind of speak to people who might not understand kind of what they're working on. The other key thing that we kind of talk about is just the whole ethical responsibility of the knowledge that they have, because I have students who are very bright in what they do, and it's all about making sure that we use that for for the greater good, and not necessarily to kind of do it in nefarious ways. So.
All right. Keenan, coming to you here. What are your post-secondary plans? I believe you said you're a junior, so you got a little time to still figure that out. But what are your post-secondary plans and goals, and how do you feel 214 has helped you prepare for your future?
So I'm actually a senior,
See, I messed that one up.
and I don't have too many post-secondary plans yet. I'm still trying to think about it. I might go to Harper College. I might try to continue on to a job in software engineering. So I'm not too sure about my plans yet, but it's gonna be related to software engineering.
Awesome. Um,
How about I'm sorry, Seth, I don't mean to keep cutting you
I
off.
love this. You
Yeah,
chime
all
in,
right.
please.
How about like just Bob or Giovanni, like your experience with the apprenticeship program, maybe certain things that you guys kind of learned with that, and did it help kind of shape what you guys are doing now?
I can start here with this one. So, um, when I was at Meadows, the last kind of course that was available was my junior year for Security Plus. So it really wasn't anything for my senior year, and that apprenticeship helped fill that gap. So by doing through that apprenticeship, we had to work. It was a 1,200-hour requirement, and we were taking classes at Moraine Valley. So being able to go to that community college, um, we took our classes in person, and it helped me kind of experience what going to a community college would be like and see like where I would want to go, not only for college, but also kind of like what classes I might want to take. And they kind of showed a lot of like how you can really specify and what you want to do. So it helped me kind of see that um, like basically cybersecurity is something I wanted to do because beforehand, going into my senior year, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. So going through the apprenticeship really helped me kind of see that through the coursework and going into the apprenticeship and working with the district. I could kind of see what a day-to-day might be like. Um, and at the district, I got to experience, everything from physical cabling work to technical work, like working on servers and working at different like um, network administration programs.
Yeah, nice, Bob. I think similar experience to me as well. I know since we were the kind of the pilots for the apprenticeship program for cybersecurity, but for my experience of the apprentice, I luckily, and I think this is very lucky for my situation, had exposure to a technology working with a district that was a Cisco technology, and then later on, after 2 or 3 years in college, I was able to actually apply for a role at Cisco that consults on that technology. So with that little experience under my belt, I was able to really propel myself and sell it essentially to a bigger company saying, hey, I have worked with this, I have exposure, I don't know anything about it in terms of a professional level, but I've worked with and I've touched. And simply with that, having that skill of being involved, showing, big tech company that I was eager at the age of 17 or 16 to be working with their stuff, that really I think put me in front of the line compared to a lot of other candidates. So I would say having the opportunity from such an early standpoint to touch and exposed to all these different things really allowed me to have an advantage over even, I didn't go to an Ivy League college, but I went to Illinois Tech, which is like a small school in Chicago. And they, simply with a couple of these key things, it got me farther, I would say, than a lot of those other really competitive candidates. So I don't know, having that opportunity got me miles ahead. So that's what I would say that apprenticeship helped me with.
Awesome. Gonna go a little rogue here. This is not on the list. But we really have two different kind of sides. We have kind of our hardware side and this is for anyone to answer, and our programming side. How would you guys say why is it important to have a good understanding of both sides of kind of that world?
Yeah, so I can talk about this one a little bit from the vendor perspective. So Cisco sells a lot of technology, and we have a lot of different sub departments within our groups that need to collaborate. So we might have a hardware engineer or a software engineer. Keenan is interested in that. Um, but a lot of our issues stem from actually kind of system engineering, which is kind of aggregating all these different pieces of maybe software and hardware that need to work together. And when there's lack of communication or a lack of understanding from one side or the other, that causes a lot of bugs and issues that can lose companies millions of dollars. So it's a simple matter of being well rounded enough to either ask the right questions or know what you don't know. That could really make or break the difference. So to answer your question, Seth, I would say that's an example of what can happen if you don't know the other side of the coin per se.
And my perspective looking at this hardware versus kind of like the programming side, I see it more as like the hardware is kind of like the ideas, how stuff should be implemented, how it should work. And then the software is getting down into the very specifics of how something may be implemented. So, like Giovanni said, being more of a well-rounded individual, being able to understand both sides kind of gives you At least in my experience, more kind of knowledge in terms of troubleshooting. It gives you, if you're trying to figure something out, you kind of have a better idea of if you don't know it, you know where to go. So at least having some knowledge on each side will set you in the right direction to solving a problem and figuring something out.
All right. Well, we only have 10 minutes left, and I know that it probably seems a little early to be doing this, but this tends to be probably the most beneficial part is just kind of asking you guys what advice you would give, kind of based on where you're at in life right now. So we're going to start with Keenan, and I'm going to ask Keenan to kind of focus in. If he was an eighth grader again, what advice would he hope someone would have gave him at that moment? Because we have a lot of students and stuff on here, so I think kind of them having that understanding, and then kind of the bigger global picture, having some alum here, a teacher, and then industry partner as well.
So advice I'd have for students would be to like make your own projects, play around with stuff, like specifically stuff that you're interested in. So like if you're interested in a specific aspect of IT, I'd recommend you like do your own research about it and like make cool stuff with it pretty much. Like do your own exploration and you'll learn a lot from just playing around with stuff.
I thought you were going to give us a little quote of Ted Lasso there on being curious, so we got close. So, how about you, Bob?
I mean, Keenan pretty much stole what I was going to say. I mean, going out, finding, and pretty much exploring different technologies. If you're interested in, computer hardware, that's a broad, area. There's a lot that you can do there. So really just kind of exploring and seeing the like different categories and then diving into each one. There's a lot of tools, especially now with AI. You could even go in, ask them just infinite amount of questions and start going down a path, figuring out what you might like, what you might not like, but it doesn't, I wouldn't say care too much about what you're looking at, but like find out something that you might like and maybe look at, it's okay if you don't like something, but just keep going, exploring, seeing what's out there, and really just working on your own, working on projects, experimenting with that own technology is the best way to learn it. Once you start working on a project, you really see there's maybe a lot more to the project than you thought there was, and you might learn a lot about other technologies that you might not were even aware of.
All right, Giovanni, what do you got?
I'm gonna hit it on a different angle. So I would say, uh, really talk to people, even if you're younger. Eighth grade, freshman, sophomore, doesn't matter, or even in college, right? If you decide to go to college, I think I have a motto, and it might be unpopular, but or might not be the best, but it's that your network is your net worth, and not simply because of the connections you have and the people can help you, but more so because the people you talk to and the people you surround yourself with mean a lot. And if you can network your way into simply like really intelligent conversations, that means a lot, right? Simply passively listening to people who know more than you, or have done things that you want to do, things like that, I think can really set yourself up for success. And whether that's even, if you're in eighth grade, talk to a sophomore, or maybe somebody who's doing an apprenticeship. It can be a small conversation, or it could be something you set up, every week. I think little pieces of that can really help you in your career and just help you grow on the communication side, like I said earlier. So I think just doing that consistently throughout your academic journey, I think would really help.
Yeah, and I heard you say multiple times communication, communication, getting to know people. No, huge things there. How about you, Mr. Drunt?
I just wanted to kind of add a couple different things. First of all, you know, um, being a teacher in this area, one of the nice things about not only being able to kind of work with students who have these different abilities and kind of fostering their knowledge and kind of pointing them in the right direction. It's fun to teach in this area simply because it's different all the time. You know, the things that I taught 4 years ago are completely different than the things I teach now. It's ever evolving. One of the things that we talked a little bit about the apprenticeship program. Understand that we also have internships available for students. So even if they're not necessarily looking to kind of do an apprenticeship program senior year, there are other opportunities we have available for students. So keep that in mind too. If this is the pathway that you're going to choose when you come to District 214. And my little last piece is, being a teacher. I've been teaching now for over 25 years. Being on these panels and being with former students and students that were in the district and a student that is currently in the district but working in the apprenticeship program makes me extremely proud. You gentlemen have done a wonderful job, and it really makes me happy to kind of see you guys thriving in the field and kind of reaffirms everything that we do in the classroom.
Yeah, and Mr. Drent had a small little plug there. If you are interested in teaching these things, because you like working with people and young youth, there is possibilities for teaching these classes as well in the future. And they're good paying jobs and not easy to fill, as someone that has to hire those. So, all right, David, what's your piece of advice to high schoolers in general on how what they can do to make themselves more prepared?
Sure. This might be biased, but again, I go back to the AI. It's evolving fast, and this is where the future is going to be. And we're just scratching the surface with it. It's just the tip of the iceberg, and there's going to be huge potential for it in the future to build a future with it. So I would recommend for students, get involved. Do master your math, programming, computer science, fundamentals, things like that. That's key to be able to understand it and build on it. And then, just like Keenan mentioned, practice building projects, showcasing them online, having people look at them, play with them, and practicing competitions to challenge yourself and learn from others. And then just stay curious and consistent in learning AI. It's just, again, it's changing so fast. And then there's a lot of mentors that can help you, guide you with that as well. But this has, again, huge potential, and we don't know where it's going to be 2 years from now, a year from now. But it's a lot of fun.
Well, awesome. Well, we're going to finish up probably a couple minutes early unless someone throws a question out there. Um, I appreciate all the panel's help today. Probably by far, you guys know way more than me. I don't know much of any of this, but I have faith in our teachers to always help educate us, division heads. So, um, just a couple of small quick things here. There is on our district website, if you kind of see where things are, it does guide you to our academic pathways and programs guidebook, which will take you to a very similar page to this. Those are all on there for all our different pathways. Some interesting things here. It also has some different electives that are related, and then it also has extracurriculars and things of that nature that you can get involved with in all of our district schools. So. That being said, no questions came in, so I'm gonna go help my wife with my children. But you guys, panel, I appreciate your help today and making this a great experience for all those on here. And I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day.